Welcome to How We Grow, an essential playbook to grow and scale your vacation rental business with advice and insights from the best in the biz, with your host, Lynell Gordon. I'm Lynell Gordon. Welcome to How We Grow, the Vacation Rental Show. I have Jodi Cleer with me, and Jodi has a really unique background, guys. And so I think she has advice that's unique and interesting. You tell us a little bit about your background.
Oh, well, I've been in the vacation rental industry for almost 10 years now. Came from the hotel side of things and then came into the space as a vendor with a company called Real Voice.
That's unusual.
Yes. And so I actually stayed with that company for a long time and had a client, Park City Rental Properties. And during the pandemic, they were looking to grow and started working with them. And so I actually moved from the vendor side to the property manager side.
That's remarkable. Now, let's talk about the growth. Jodi has seen extreme growth in her company. So tell me where you started and where you are.
Okay. So when I started with Park City Rental Properties in probably like the end of 2018, early 2019, they had about 250 properties.
Mm-hmm. Which is a good side property. That's a good side.
It was. Been in business since 1999, very established in Park City, largest property manager. Jim Bisley, the founder, was one of the founders in Streamline as well.
Oh, wow.
And so
smart guy, just saying.
And so I joined the company as they were getting ready to expand into other territories and then actually rebrand as I Love Vacations.
That's cool.
So we went into Sedona first in 2018 and within the first year grew to over 60 properties.
That's crazy.
By the end of year 2, we're at 180 properties. Plus we had opened 3 other locations in Scottsdale, Whitefish, Montana, and Dripping Springs, Texas, right outside of Austin.
Oh my goodness.
So here we are, 2023. We're just right at 700 properties.
Wow.
So in 4 years, we were able to almost triple the size of our company in 4 years.
So let's talk about the backbone of what helped you to grow the company, because I know there are a lot of people out there who have been in property management or they're just starting property management and they really do want to grow. So what's your best advice for people who want to grow?
Well, we started not only with our main headquarters in Park City, but then we had smaller operations in each of those towns. So we had local operations teams that really had integrated themselves into the community. We first started by really participating in everything from the chamber to real estate mixers, hiring local people and making kind of those local connections, because all of the towns that we're in are small towns, with the exception of Scottsdale. They're all smaller communities where we were, quote unquote, the outsider. And so we hired locals that really helped us become bonded within those communities.
So you hired local people. Do you have operations centralized elsewhere, or are they all the operations in the different offices?
Yeah. So we have local offices for all 5 territories. But we just run accounting, marketing, and sales out of the Park City office. And then all the other ones are kind of our inspectors, maintenance, general managers. Those are all run locally. So we're kind of nationally local.
So you've done all this growth. What other types of things have you done technology-wise or policy-wise? Or what other things have you done that have made it possible for you to do this type of scaling?
I think the biggest thing, we have a lot of technology behind us, right? And we spent, I think our second largest line item in our budget, other than labor, is marketing.
You're a techie, so
So we spend a lot of money on marketing, everything from SEO to mailers to community outreach. We have 4 full-time business development managers that do nothing but investor relations. So a lot of times when you're smaller, you have someone who wears a lot of hats, or maybe the owner of the company is very particular and like, I talk to every investor. But our CEO, Jim Bisley, says, if you want to grow, you got to let it go. So, and
that delegation's a good thing, guys.
Right. Well, he also says delegate to elevate. So I think he also was like, no, I want to sign every new owner. But then it gets to the point where you just get to be so big. And so you've got to let it go. So we have 4 dedicated business development managers that do nothing. And they're spread out territorial so that they each get to know and have personal relationships with the vendors and real estate agents that send us leads in their prospective communities. And so when leads come in, they're able to follow them up in real time.
Do you have a CRM or something that tracks all that? There's someone that can oversee and say, I'm looking down, I can see everything coming in, and if somebody's following up with it?
We do. So every lead that comes in, email, phone call, text, all feeds through the CRM.
Okay.
And then we're able to follow up with it. We also have an international team in the Philippines that really help us as well with our outreach emails, kind of doing some of our follow-up work. They write up all the contracts. They follow up on getting all the details and things like that. So a lot of administrative work that people are like, wow, you sent me an email like that. I'm like, well, it wasn't really me, but it had my signature on it.
So response time is important.
Absolutely. You are setting the stage for the level of customer service that owner expects to receive in the future, right? So we want them to know, as a property manager, we're going to have to take your phone call. If something's happening at the house or with the guest, we're going to be there. So you're really setting the first impression
For sure.
the level of service that they're going to receive for their home.
You had mentioned something to me about working with MLS agents, and I was impressed with that because I have a background in real estate. I'm a broker, and I did sales for about 18 months and loved it. I didn't have a real choice till I had to leave because I had to come back and run a company that needed me. But you mentioned something, and I thought, if I had had that when I was a broker, that would have made the difference. Tell me a little bit about what you do.
So we try to be proactive instead of reactive when it comes to new listings on the market.
Aha.
That's the key, right?
You have to follow the MLS listings as they come out.
Correct. So basically, hot sheets come out. We go in, use our team to pull the hot sheets, see what homes we think we would like to have in our portfolio, and then proactively reach out to that listing agent with a projection analysis of what that home will do.
I love that. I was telling Jodi earlier that part was so phenomenal. We created a tool for that. Streamline has a tool embedded that actually is called a rental projection. That's what it's called. And it automatically looks with real data to see what that home could perform with and email people out. So I think that that's huge. I think that's a real good tool in your belt for growing your company.
It is. And I love that you said that it's based off of actual comps, because right now the market is a little competitive, right, with property managers. And I always, when I present someone with those projections, I also say, hey, these are pretty conservative, because I know you're about to make a financial decision based off of this information that I'm providing you. Exactly. And so I have to do that responsibly. And it's sad to see when they're like, well, I got these projections from someone else and this is what they say. And I'm like, so how come they're going to do a better job than you are? And I was like, well, they're not going to do a better job necessarily because I don't really think those are realistic. And so if you can use a tool to pull up actuals and show them and say, this is what historically has been done. So what they're providing you, that, there's no merit behind it. And I just want to put my best foot forward, right? And I rather under promise and over deliver than, 3 months from now, them freaking out because they can't make their mortgage because they were expecting these projections. So again, starting the conversation or the relationship with honesty and transparency is the best way to keep a homeowner rather than setting some lofty expectation and then not being able to live up to it.
That's a pet peeve of mine because it has such far-reaching implications. So when we created that tool, we were really pushed to add in data that was estimated. And I was like, yeah, that ain't going to happen. And it's because I've done it as a real estate agent. I've done those comps. I loved listing houses. It was like the sales, the buyer part, not so much, but the listing, I loved that. And doing the comps for that was a really important part for me because pricing that now, the one thing we have now, tell me, we're looking back over COVID, and that's historical data. And we have to base estimates that we do for our new properties on past. If you found pricing to go down, I haven't seen that in the market in any of the analytics I've seen.
I think it depends on your market, right? So we have several markets where there's an overabundance of supply. So your ADR may have gone up, but your occupancy has gone down. And because of that overabundance of supply, we've had to adjust those. I think it's better to look at the last 12 months of rolling data than it is to look at 2 years.
No,
2 years is unrealistic.
No, the rolling data.
2021 was the unicorn year.
Yeah.
Never going to happen again, right?
Exactly.
We've seen decreases this year. So again, setting proper expectations. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about that is I'm setting my other team members up for success because we have an owner experience department. I have a revenue manager. I don't want them to have to answer for my promises. Right?
No, of course.
So I'm setting up other team members for success with that owner as well. But I mean, being realistic in your projections is always fair. You can always look at even your own inventory.
That's true.
And,
of course you do.
Look at what that's doing as well. And I think the last 3 months, we've started to finally see an uptick and we're kind of coming out. So I think things are getting better. Everybody got their revenge travel out of the way. Everybody made their trip to Europe. They're over it now. So
it's true. We've seen that.
Yes,
it's true.
It was,
but I'm glad to hear you say the ADR stayed the same. I knew the occupancy had gone down.
Yeah,
the ADR seemed to stay. It was really surprising to me that the ADR stayed up.
Built by property managers for property managers. Streamline is a powerful software that gives managers enterprise-level capabilities to drive more revenue and improve operational efficiency. Migrating to Streamline allows property managers to gain functionality while reducing the need for multiple vendors, improving flow by logging into a single system and reducing redundant technology costs. With Streamline, property managers achieve revenue lifts by leveraging our fully fledged communication center, reservations quoting system, revenue management tools, homeowner acquisition CRM, and powerful direct OTA connections. Streamline also has industry-leading trust accounting and report capabilities to give you clarity in an overall company performance. Learn more about Streamline Vacation Rental Software at streamlinevrs.com.
So when we talk about growing, the amount of growth that you've done is really remarkable. What other advice would you give to property managers who are looking for that kind of growth?
You can't grow too quickly because then you start to run into other issues. You know, there's growing pains at certain levels.
Yeah, there are.
I think even when you move from 40 to 60, that seems to be a real big hump that I see people. And then at like 120, and then at 250, it's very clear. And I see it again and again in property managers. So once you get past that hump, then you build. But systems and processes are the way to go.
There you go.
And throughout our territories, we do everything the same, except for certain things where the territory may have different regulations or laws or, you know, different little things that go on there. But having clear systems and processes. As a company, we even have what's called I Love Vacations University. It's for all of our employees. And it is a resource for them that has processes on how to use all of our technology, videos on sales trainings. We have created a standard property appearance book, which even for our housekeepers and inspectors shows exactly how each house is supposed to be set up prior to the guest arrival. So we've spent a lot of time building systems and processes that educate people and self-educate. And if you forget how to do something, you can go on to the university, search for it, and find the information there as well.
And you put that in ChatGPT?
We are starting to utilize ChatGPT for a lot of things, especially our listings.
Yes.
We're revamping all of our automated emails, definitely our listings as well. But we've been utilizing it quite a bit. And it's not perfect, but it's fresh.
Yeah.
And it helps.
I found people, I was very interested to know that they're putting their things like we're talking about, all the documentation, they're putting it in ChatGPT so they can get it out. I would love for you to tell me your favorite owner or guest story, Jodi.
So I have one of both, a guest and an owner. When you have a vacation rental company for 24 years, like we've had, you have a lot of repeat guests.
Oh, yeah.
And people tend to book the same home over and over again, and they see it as their home. That's their vacation.
You have succeeded when your guest believes that is their home.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true. It really is. That's a success. Right?
They get there and then they get all excited. They're, oh, there's a new wine opener.
With new couch, decorated.
Oh, yes.
I love that. Yeah.
I love what you did with my house.
Floors. Exactly.
But we have one particular family where the grandfather was kind of like the head of the family, and he was the one that always brought everyone together, and they had been there for years and years. And he passed, and the family decided to carry on that tradition, come back to the house and have a celebration of life in his honor, and just kind of share all the memories that they had in that home with their loved ones. So, these are homes. These are vacations. They are memories that we are creating. Doug Kennedy always talks about the memory factory.
He does.
And it is. Hospitality is a feeling and a spirit that just kind of warms our heart. And so to know that we were able to participate in that for that family is really good. So owner stories, as we started to grow, I think we're really big on owner communications. And so we were promoting the other locations to our owners. And we've had several owners who have reached out to us and said, I've had a home in Park City, but I never really thought about Sedona. What's going on in Sedona? And they looked at it as an opportunity to invest in a home that's an opposite season.
Love that.
Right? They're like, we're very comfortable with you. We already have a relationship with you. We wanted to buy another home, but we don't want to have to talk to 6 different property managers.
Right,
and so we have owners who have followed us into other locations, and I think it's a great compliment. It is. It's so
huge
fun.
Compliment, guys.
It's so fun. I'm like, wow, you must really like this. Yeah, absolutely. That they want to grow with us is a really nice compliment that they could say to us.
That's wonderful. You said 2 things that I just thought were instrumental as well in growth. You said that your owners said delegation.
Oh, delegate to elevate.
Delegate to elevate.
Yes.
And that's a huge deal. And one more.
You got to let it go to grow. Yeah.
I love that.
If you want to grow, you have to let it go.
And it's for delegation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, especially, most property managers start off as mom, pop.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And so there's a sense of like, this is my baby. I birthed it. And so no one will ever do it as well as you do, and that's, I think, as an entrepreneur, that's just your personality, right? And you like the thrill of wearing multiple hats. That's why you're an entrepreneur. But as you take your company to the next level, I think a lot of people are afraid of systems and processes because they're like, nope, that's not me. I like to do things on the fly. That's how I built my business. That's what I'm known for. But as you grow, you do have to have some systems in place. And part of that is delegation.
Yeah.
And the delegation is hard because it's your baby. It's your name. A lot of people, the property managers, they use their name on their property management company. Like that's their reputation. Yeah. And so entrusting people with those great responsibilities, it's hard.
And giving them the power to make the decisions.
Empowering people, yes.
Really important.
Well, and we treat our employees like family, and empowering them to make those decisions is how you get people to stay with you. They want to feel like they're part of something bigger and that they're responsible for that growth as well. And when they feel like I'm a part of something, they stay with you and you build loyalty, which is really hard with guest owners and employees. Loyalty is something that has changed over the years and in our society.
Sure.
And so in order to build that, it's all about relationships.
Well, I am really grateful for you coming. If people have questions about anything that you've talked about, can they reach out to you?
Absolutely.
How can they find you best?
Well, Jodi Cleer, Cleer. I always say I'm the only person in the United States with that name. So you can Google it. It's all good stuff. There's nothing bad.
It's Jodi, guys.
Yes.
So Google her and reach out to her if you have questions. She has a lot of interesting background too, guys. So she's got a lot of experience in this. So thank you for being willing to mentor people in the industry and for coming to talk to me.
Great. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Jodi.
This episode of How We Grow is brought to you by Streamline. To find out more about how Streamline can help grow your vacation rental business, visit streamlinevrs.com. Make sure to search for How We Grow in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, or anywhere else podcasts are found, and hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. On behalf of the team here at Inhabit, thanks for listening.